We're making this film today because we've noticed a few things happening in the truth movement in the UK, and we are ourselves part of the truth movement in some small way. And what we wanted to just offer some insights, some views we have, and hopefully some advice that both Zam and I possibly may have. I think it's also important to sort of state here that being critical is not being negative. In fact, I believe, and Zam believes, it's the opposite, that being critical of what you're doing is actually a positive thing, and it develops a better finished result.
Because in the past, when me and Tom have basically voiced our views and ideas, we've been told, oh, you're being negative, or you're throwing the spanner in the creative workflow, and being helpful. And when we're giving you critiques, we're basically criticizing ourselves, because we're much as part of everybody else. So we see ourselves as a whole body, as a whole unit, and we're criticizing and trying to offer our positive criticism so we can better ourselves, because we see the truth movement, which needs to be more as a professional movement, and it's time we stopped being amateurs anymore. We need to professionally do things, because we're taking on a professional enemy here. We're not taking Tom, Dick and Harry. We're taking a professional movement that's been running for hundreds and thousands of years, and we can't do this by just being amateurs and just doing things what we feel is right. So that's why, again, I reiterate what Tom said. Being critical here is not being negative, and we're not accusing anybody directly. We're just as guilty of most of the things we're going to tell you now. So please understand that I restate that we're just as guilty as most of the stuff. We didn't come into this perfectly, and we've made so many mistakes, and we've learned. So that's why we're putting this thing together. This is like our fifth take, Tom. This is the fifth take.
Yeah, something like that.
The fifth take, because we wanted to make it as professional as we can, and to give out the right message, because we want to make it perfect. That's why this is the fifth take, not the first take. So Tom, why do you feel you can give out a critique, or what's your background, and how do you want to give out some advice?
Sure,
on what do you want to say?
Well, of course, and it's important to explain why we're saying the things we're saying. My background the last sort of 6 to 7 years has been in marketing, both online marketing, offline marketing, and what I mean by marketing is mainly for sort of small businesses, for my own small business, and I've advised other individuals, other businesses. And in marketing, it's all about a message. You're getting a message across. You're starting a marketing campaign to promote that business, promote that product, promote that opinion, that view, which the truth movement is. It's a set of ideas, ideals, and exposing the truth. So in a marketing campaign, it's very, very important to understand in the beginning what you're selling, what you're talking about, and your audience, and how your audience is going to respond to what you're saying. And then once you've said that message, that brand, that product, whatever that is to your audience, then testing how your audience responded to whatever you're talking about. And never ever do you only come up with one message, one brand, one slogan, and just keep repeating that over and over and over again without first knowing if that's working. That's commercial suicide, and that's why a lot of businesses pure and simply go out of business, and that's why possibly the truth movement will go out of business or not succeed, because no one, from what I can see, is testing what they're doing.
You said there's no feedback, Tom.
There's
basically
no feedback.
Gauge the gauge how well we're doing, or do we just carry on just saying, oh, a lot of people we've talked to, and that they're coming towards us, but we haven't got any facts or statistics to say, oh, this is what we're doing, this is working. A
lot of people say, oh, well, the masses are waking up and we're handing out flyers, we're doing demos, we're using megaphones, or whatever method it is, or videos on Facebook. No one's actually bothering to contact the new people who are unaware of this before and saying, now, have you actually changed your opinion of the government, of the war, of the world? What are you going to do differently? Are you aware that these secret societies exist, or whatever it is? No one's saying, does this method work better than that method? No one's saying, does making a video or writing a book about it, is that converting new converts, if you like, better than going out in the street and handing out flyers or speaking on the megaphone? No one's comparing the two, and in marketing you would compare the two and see, this got 1,000 new subscribers, new sales, this one got 2,000. So obviously the 2,000 one is performing better, so you would take that and try to improve on that. No one's improving on anything. There's a few people who've come up with some original ideas and everyone else is just copying them. They're not developing them, they're not changing them, they're not taking them in new directions or even a new audience. We seem to be continually talking to ourselves. We're not talking to anyone new. So that's why I feel that I've got some knowledge about how a message can develop and be promoted to an audience. And I'd like to introduce Zam to find out why Zam thinks he's got the right to give you some of these ideas as well.
Well, up until last month I was a senior graphic designer, and I've been designing for the corporate elite and for the last 15 years, all the top names from HSBC to Sony to Marks and Spencer to Shell to Nike. Call it the dark arts of propaganda in how people will actually receive the message. We want to take on the elite who have captured the masses' attention, and at the moment we know that the propaganda and the media is all controlled, but we don't know how to control it. We know who's owning it. We have wealth of information, where Rupert Murdoch is, and who's owning the top TV channels, but we don't know how to give out that message. And again, compared to what Tom said earlier as well, we're not asking everybody to band together and do one thing. As individual as you are, guys, please go and do some research on how very effective your little messages are. Anyone can look up what is below the line, above the line, through the line marketing on the net.
Guerrilla marketing.
Anything, and even the stuff I'm talking about, because I come from a graphic design background. Presentation, the way people see you is very important. They're not gonna, really straight away wake up to you talking to them, or shouting, with a banner held, or basically, A4 sheet basically in front of, the Parliament. They'll listen to people who are sat at the BBC desk.
So they've been conditioned to listen to the BBC.
Yeah, at the moment.
People on TV reading paper or what's written in a paper. They may not agree with that. Most people on the street know, well, you can't believe what you read in the papers, which is true. But still, they're conditioned to receiving a lot of information in a professional way.
And you've got to take advantage of that condition at the moment. And this is all about fighting a war without even trying to fight. And
it's an information war.
Yeah, it's an information war, and it's the minimum things we can do, because first we have to study how this has all been done, and nobody studied it. So it's all about presentation, how we present ourselves. If you're going to make a YouTube video, if we're going to put out some information, please think twice how these information are going to be received by people, and the audience is no longer us and you anymore. The audience is the common masses, and that's how the common masses have to basically be addressed. But we're telling each other a lot of information these days. What do you think of that?
Again, we seem to be telling each other the same sort of stuff that we knew, that I knew a couple of years ago, that we've all read the same books or similar books from the same people and similar themes: secret societies, bloodlines, people wanting to control the world, we're being lied to, hidden technologies, they're trying to reduce the population using chemtrails and swine flu jabs and all those sorts of things.
1984 hasn't changed in any way. We've just added so much more special effects to it. We just know a lot more detail to it, but at the core of it,
David Icke started talking about this in the early 90s. William Cooper was talking about it in the late 80s and early 90s.
Nothing changed.
Alex Jones has been going for a good 10 years.
And more people are getting